Hey, what's new and exciting? It's Kevin O'Shaughnessy here, and I want to make it easier for you to get better at the guitar. Sometimes that means learning the mechanics of a particular technique. Other times it might mean developing new skills like learning how to read music or learning a little fundamental music theory, things that other guitar teachers might tell you you don't need to know. Whatever the issue is, there's a way to get around it, and I'm here to help you find it. So today I wanted to do a pretty quick video on the difference between practicing and playing. This is something that I see a lot of beginning students get mixed up with a lot. They tend to think that just by sitting down and noodling on the guitar, they're going to get better. Now, they might enjoy that a lot more, but actual dedicated practice is what's going to help you improve. So what's the difference? Well, practicing to me is developing a skill, and playing is showing off that skill. Now, why is that important? Especially if your aspirations on the guitar are pretty humble, right? Maybe you're just playing to play for yourself and not necessarily to play for anybody else. But the more skill you have, the more fun it is to play. So let me give you an example of why this kind of thing might be really important. Let's say you're learning a song, and there's a measure in that song that you just keep tripping over every single time. Maybe the rest of the song sounds great, but this one measure is really tripping you up. Now, if you just keep playing that song over and over and over again without addressing the problem of that measure, you're never going to get any better at that measure. There's always going to be that one point in the song where you keep tripping over yourself and then you have to catch up. So if you isolate that measure, practice it, then put it back in the song, then you can play the whole song without making any mistakes, and that becomes a lot more fun. So the quick and dirty way I would handle that situation is to first isolate that measure and look at it from a more, intellectual standpoint, right? What's the rhythm like? What scale is it using? Are there any techniques, hammer-ons and pull-offs that might be tripping me up? Understanding that measure is going to give you a really good idea of how to attack practicing it. Next, I'm going to isolate that measure. I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to practice it over and over and over again. Not until I get it right, but until I can't screw it up. Now I'm going to do that at that slow tempo, then I'm going to increase the tempo and I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'll keep increasing the tempo. And then at some point when I feel pretty comfortable and I feel gutsy, then I'm going to jump up and I'm going to put it back into the original tempo. So I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that you have to continue increasing the tempo incrementally. Some people really do that. They'll increase the tempo by 10 points, another 10 points, another 10 points. I've done that and it definitely works, and I have shared that technique with my students. But sometimes you want to test yourself. You might get the idea, hey, I'm actually getting pretty good at this right now. Why don't I just jump up and see what happens? I'll put it in the original tempo and I'll see if I can play through it. If you can, that's great. Then you can just jump into putting it back into the song and see if you can actually get through that spot in context. Now, if you put it back into the song and you can't play it, maybe you trip over it again, then you can slow it down. Maybe not all the way down to where you started, but maybe somewhere in the middle, and then try to work your way back up again. Keep doing this process until you get to the point where you just cannot screw up this lick. Now you can put it back into the song again, and hopefully you do it without making any mistakes. If you do, try to pay attention to where that mistake is. Is it on the first beat, the second beat, the third beat? Is it on that special technique, that hammer-on or pull-off that might be in there that's throwing you off? Then dial the tempo back down, isolate that measure, and do it over and over again until you can get it right multiple times in a row. Then put it back into the song. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you can play this riff in isolation and in the song without screwing it up. Now you can play through the whole song, and then you don't have to worry about that moment ever again. So let's recap. Practicing is the dedicated, repetition-driven method of developing a skill. Playing is using that skill. Plain and simple, that's it. So a mix of practicing and playing in all of your practice sessions is what's going to get you the best results faster. You may not always enjoy the repetition of the practicing part, but you should really have something to be proud of when you nail that lick and you can put it into a song and play it without making mistakes. And once again, my method for practicing a measure or a phrase in a tune that I'm having trouble with is as follows. Number one, Isolate the measure and figure out what's going on. What's the rhythm? What scale is being used? And what techniques are being used? 2. Set the metronome at a slow tempo so that you can play the lick without making mistakes. This will give you an opportunity to really figure out what it is that's causing you trouble. 3. Start increasing the tempo so that you can get closer to the original tempo of the song. 4. Occasionally, jump up to full tempo and see if you can pull it off. You don't always have to move in an incremental fashion, although that method does work. 5. Put it back into the song and see how well you can play through that lick. If you can do it without any mistakes, congratulations. Now you got a new song in your repertoire that you can play through without mistakes. If not, repeat the previous steps until you can play the whole song without mistakes. So I hope that helps. Question of the day: what lick, riff, or phrase do you have the absolute hardest time learning how to play on the guitar? Leave it in the comments below and it might become the subject of a future video. If you want to support the channel, you can pick up a copy of my album Persistence of Vision, which is a hard rock record featuring Joe Satriani-like instrumentals, story-based songs, and a lot of great riffs. If you like hard rock, this record's for you. The link is in the description below. As always, like the video and subscribe, and remember to turn on your notifications so you know whenever I make a new video. That's all for now. Keep practicing. I'll see you soon.